Hello. When you are considering coming to a place like Korea to teach English, one of the first questions that people often ask is, should I teach at a public school or at a private academy or like a private institution? And I think that that's a really important question, not because one is necessarily better than the other, but just because they are different in some very important ways. And I think that those differences will make a big difference in the experience that you have. I've talked to a lot of people who have had good and bad experiences in both types of schools. So like I said, I don't think that one is necessarily better than the other, but they are different, and I think it's important to know what those differences are. So first of all, we'll talk about the pros of working in a public school. Let's see, first of all, in a public school, you are working for like the government, as opposed to like a private individual or company. So some people find that to be a little bit more secure, and you know, you don't have like your boss, like the person paying your paycheck. You're not working like under his same roof, if that makes sense. Also, the contracts in the public schools are very standardized, so which basically means that there's hundreds of other teachers who have the exact same contract and are in the exact same situation that you are. So you kind of know a little bit better what you're getting into. As opposed to at private schools, each owner of a private school can write his or her own contract, and they definitely try to make those contracts competitive. It's just that the public school contracts tend to be more standardized. If you like to work during the day, like during regular school hours, from 8 to 4 or 9 to 5, for example, then a public school would probably work out pretty well for you. And also, at public schools, native English speakers do not work on weekends or holidays, Saturdays or Sundays. Generally, as far as the daily schedule goes, you will have about 20 classes per week. So about 4 classes per day. And then the rest of the time throughout the day, you have to prepare lesson plans or do whatever else you need to do. So those are some of the pros of working at a public school. There are some cons, however. One of the biggest cons of working at a public school is that the class size tends to be a lot larger. Sometimes you can have more than 30 students in a class. Now, you're not in the class all alone. You will have someone in there helping you, and kind of like a co-teacher to help you or explain things if the students don't understand. But the classes are larger generally in a public school, so that can make it a little bit difficult. Also, most public schools will only hire one native English teacher per school. So all the other people that speak English in the school will be like, for example, Korean English teachers. Now we can talk about private schools just a little bit. Some of the pros of private schools could be outlined like this. And like I said, I don't think one is necessarily better than the other. You just have to decide what works better for you. For example, some of the pros of working in a private school is that private schools generally are able to offer you a little bit higher salary. So you generally will get paid a little bit more in a private school. Also, the class sizes will be smaller. You know, sometimes quite small. You can get quite a bit of like one-on-one work going on, so that's nice. If you like working in the evenings and having your days free, then the private school is probably better for you. Because think about it like this. The students go to private schools when they are not in the public school. So, for example, students will go to school during the regular school day, like 8 to 4 or 8 to 3 or whatever. And then in the evenings, they'll go to the private school. So if you work in a private school, that means most of your work will be in the evenings, or sometimes on weekends or holidays, the times when there won't be in the public schools. So, but you will have your days free. That's what a lot of people like about the private schools. Also, in a lot of private schools, they'll hire more than one native English teacher. So if you are interested in meeting a whole bunch of other native English teachers and stuff and working really closely with them, you might enjoy working in a private school. Some of the cons of working in a private school would be that private schools are businesses, and they rely on keeping the parents and the students happy. So if the parents and the students aren't happy with your private school, they will go to a different private school, and you will lose, and the private school owner will lose that business. So it tends to be more focused on keeping the students and the teachers happy rather than actually teaching them sometimes. So you need to do some research into the school to find out whether or not it's reputable, and to kind of get a feeling for maybe how the owner is and kind of how he deals with things. Also, private schools tend to push the students a little bit harder than in the public schools. For some reason, they hold the students, I think, to a little bit higher standard and push them a little bit harder. So as the teacher, you're responsible to make that happen. Now, because like I said, the private schools are businesses. So, for example, if the business goes bankrupt, or all the students leave, then you could be out of a job, and there's not much backing. Whereas in the public schools, it's a little bit more secure in some cases in that respect. So also in the private schools, you will have generally more classes per day and less prep time while you're at work. But like I said, they get their days free and then do most of their work like in the evenings. So some people really enjoy that. I think it's just different, and it depends on what kind of schedule you like. There's more information about the differences between public and private schools, and also job listings and other frequently asked questions and information on esloutlet.com. If you have any other questions that I haven't answered, feel free to send me an email or a message, and I will get back to you as soon as I can.